gustas cooperar con ustedes?
La ventaja de ahí es que la tienes aquí. So this is the Zocalo, or the main square of Mexico City. To the left, that's the Cathedral. In front of us, that's the National Palace, meaning basically the government's building. And to the right, some other building. So right in front of us, there should have been a giant flag of Mexico. I don't know why we didn't put that today. But yeah, but normally it's quite impressive. And you can see from afar, there's a big skyscraper. That's the Latino Americano, which does have a observation deck. So this was actually built on Tenochtitlan, the indigenous city, and it is quite close to a museum where you can actually find parts of the pyramid that's got left. It is a very common practice in Hispanic Mexico that the Spanish just took over the indigenous city, and they built their cathedral and their main buildings on top of the existing temple and palace and stuff like that. So they're performing some kind of, well, what they claim to be Aztec rituals. They do this all the time. It's not during some kind of pandemic or anything like that. But I'm guessing some people go to them, for that reason as well. So as I've said, there's the foot of the pyramid. Here it's actually a museum, and there's a building there where you can see some of the artifacts that they discovered from this site. This is called the Templo Maya. Many people say this is like the seat of power of Mexico because of the existence of the church, which is so powerful that they have supported many dictatorships and overthrown many other governments. There's the national palace, so the executive power as well, and obviously sort of like the historical power, the seats of the Aztec Empire. Okay, so one correction. So I forgot about the fact that there's actually a fourth UNESCO heritage site in Mexico City, and that's the main library of the UNAM, the Autonomous National University of Mexico. So there are 4 UNESCO heritage sites just in Mexico City proper, not 3.
Del Barabas número 50 pesos.
Llévatele 5 varos, 5 varos.
Bond Skyfall. So, the best view of the Villasartes is actually on the highest level of the department store stairs opposite to it. Below the cathedral, we can actually see we'll see some things from the indigenous city. As I've said, they built the cathedral on top of some existing indigenous building, most likely their temple. Hola everyone, welcome to Mexico City. Right now I'm near the Palacio de Villasartes, the Palace of Fine Arts, in the historic center of Mexican capital. The historic center of Mexico City, or Ciudad de Mexico in Spanish, is a UNESCO heritage site and also the largest city with almost 25 million inhabitants in the metropolitan area in the Western world. It was initially founded by actually the Mexica people, popularly known as the Aztecs, as Tenochtitlan, and then the Spanish took over and built this city. So Mexico City itself, and I'm talking about the city proper, actually has 3 different UNESCO heritage sites. There's a historic center, there's a house of an architect, and there's also Xochimilco in the south of the city. So why is this a UNESCO heritage site? It is because it has a lot of colonial buildings, churches, and government buildings, which are obviously called palacios, meaning palaces, and and obviously they're quite well preserved as well. So yeah. Palacio de Villasartes. Palacio de Correos. So you may wonder, why is this barricaded? It has nothing to do with the coronavirus. Actually, it has everything to do with feminism. The feminists protest from time to time because there are people who were women and they were killed, which was obviously bad. And those people who were women represented, I think, 10% of all those people who were killed in Mexico, and so they protested, hoping to change the situation, which obviously never does change. Violence against everyone in Mexico is just rising and rising to begin with. And so they protested and they vandalized this UNESCO World Heritage Site, so that's why it's barricaded. There was a feminist protest, I think, a few days ago, or maybe a week ago. And also, you might have heard that many of Mexico City's buildings are actually sinking. And this is actually an example of it. Why is it sinking? It's because when the Aztecs built the city, it was full of lakes. But the Spaniards, they were just like, oh, we don't get lakes. And then so they just filled all of them up, drained the lakes, and they built things on top of it. And the lake bed is it's not as strong as bedrock, obviously. And so nowadays, with the underground water also being consumed in an unsustainable manner, many of the buildings are sinking, just like Villasartes is. And it is what it is. And that's also why earthquakes are particularly strong in Mexico City. It is not actually because earthquakes happen here, the epicenter is almost never actually, in this area, not even in the metropolitan area. It is mostly because of this lake bed thing, and so between the epicenter and Mexico City, there's actually not a lot of shaking going on. But when it gets to Mexico City is just basically like a jelly, and so it shakes quite violently, especially in the summer, where where it's the rain season, and so this jelly is more jelly-like than ever. And so unfortunately, Mexico City is very prone to earthquakes.
Tradicional, la limpia, la asomación, pásale arriba. Plaza de lentes, señorita. Oficio de óptica, damita. ¿No busca lentes? No. Lente, caballero. La plaza.
So this is the main road in the historic center, the Madeira Avenue. And there are obviously a lot of shops, but around here, well, when I say around, I mean like maybe that street or the other street, you can find a lot of shops selling menswear, suits and jackets and stuff like that. Yeah, and there are a lot of restaurants as well. The one's called Salon Corona.
Sí, visitas de 150.